Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Lisa's Coloring Corner. Today I would like to do a flip through of a couple of new books that I got. These are very different from color by number. They are color by dots. And this one is all Van Gogh pictures, and this one is all Monet pictures. And what I like about these books is in the back they have pictures of what they all look like, and these are all their famous paintings, so we'll go through those too. But I wanted to show you how they did these books and how you color them. There is one drawback to these books, and I'll get into that once I show you what the pictures look like. The book starts out with a whole introduction talking about Vincent van Gogh. Here it talks about getting started, and let me zoom you in a little bit so that you can see this a little bit better. And it tells you how to color these pictures. Now here it says step 1. Start by gathering all the colors used on the coloring page. Coloring pencils, felt tip pens, and paints all work well. Then you color each section to match the dot within it. So there are colored dots throughout each of these pictures rather than a number to indicate what color gets colored in that little section. Then it says, for a uniform effect, when coloring large areas, work in several directions using circular motions. Number 4, details show up best if you color right to the edges of each section. If you don't have the right shade for a section, try layering multiple colors to achieve the desired effect. You can also replace a missing color with another similar shade for a more personalized result. And here it shows the final picture and what it would look like. Okay. Then we get into the coloring pages themselves. So let's see what an actual picture looks like. Okay, here is number 1. It says N1, and it tells you what page the original painting is on. So you can look in the back at the page number. This one says page 55 to see what this painting actually looks like. But let me zoom you in some more. Do you see all the colored dots in here? So here's like a brown, here's a red, a green, a light green. Now, the thing that I think is a little bit of a drawback to here is I wish on this side for each of these pictures they would actually show you what colors are needed in this picture, because these teeny little dots, trying to match up those colors is going to be really, really hard. Now, I'm not sure if in this how to do this book, let's see if I can find that page again, if these are actually the, let's see, 5 times 3, if these are the 15 colors that are used throughout the book, then that's fine. You know, if this is it, if we just have to match these colors up, you know, then I guess it wouldn't be as hard. But again, I'm not sure if it's just those colors throughout this entire book. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm almost thinking that is the case. But when I look at this, some of these colors do not look like those colors. You know, like here's some, almost looks like a red and then a pink. Do we have a pink in here? No. So I don't think this is indicative of all the colors that we need. So that's why I do say that I wish they had over here all the colors that are needed for this picture, because yeah, if they had a larger square of the colors that are needed for here, you could match it up much easier. Now, for those of you who don't like numbers showing through, a color by number, if you match up the color well enough, you will not see, you know, the dot coming through, and it'll look much more like a painting. So let's look at page 55 and let's see what this actually looks like. It may give us a little bit of an idea also what color these dots actually are. So we'll get to 55, and I'm assuming it's the first painting. And oh, isn't that pretty? Let me zoom back out a little bit. And that is the actual painting. So that's why, you know, there are some pinks and reds and whatnot in there. We have some deeper yellows, light, same with the blues. And then we have the buildings in the background. And then I noticed there were some grays, and that's for the clouds. So again, this kind of gives you an idea of what colors would be needed. But, you know, when you look at this, it's like, ay, ay, ay. And it's such a scaled down version of Van Gogh's paintings that there is a lot of detail in here. I'm almost thinking that colored pencil would be, or fine liners, but I think with fine liners it would scratch the paper too much with these dots in here. So I think colored pencil, to me, would almost be the way to go. And I would probably use hard pressure to cover up the circles. Unless you use like polychromos and you do multiple layers. But I think Prismacolor would work really good in here. Now, of course, Prismacolor does not keep their point real well because they are so soft. So you probably would have to sharpen them quite a bit to do, you know, to color in this book. Let me zoom you back out a little bit more. All right, so that is the first one. Here we have a lot of blues in here. And this book can, you know, to me, this can be very intimidating at first. Just like a lot of more detailed pictures intimidate me. But again, I think if you take just a little bit of the picture at a time, don't try to do all of those blues. Kind of like how I do my color by numbers. I try to do all number ones and then I do all number twos rather than just going by section. But I think for these, you're going to almost have to take it by a little section at a time, kind of like you do with diamond painting, if you do any diamond painting. Here's the next one. A lot of browns and greens. A lot of yellows on that one. Kind of can tell there must be a person in here. And again, we'll go through what the paintings actually look like in the back of the book. But I just thought I would flip through this. You can see kind of what each picture looks like. Looks like there would be sky up there. There's a lot of blue. A lot of blue on top for that one too. So if you really like artistry, you know, the famous paintings, I think you would like these books. Again, they're really different. I have never seen books like this, and I can't remember which one it was, but I seen Zoe show one of these books, and then the Coloring Queen just showed both of these. And I'm like, that looks really different. I have to try it because I love color by number. So, you know, hopefully you can match up the colors well enough, especially with Prismacolor, because you have 150 colors to pick from if you have the largest set. Now I'm sure you could find enough colors to match, even with polychromos, you know, the sets that have only 120. Even your harder pencils, the more budget friendly pencils, I think would do well on here because they do hold a tip much better. The only drawback to some of those, not all, but some of them, is they are not as pigmented as your higher end pencils. So then I think it would have a harder time covering up the circles. But if that doesn't bother you, that probably would be the way to go. Because again, many of those pencils are a harder type of pencil and they keep their tip really nice. So it's a little bit smaller one. Now that was the end of the actual coloring pages. So now we're going to look at the original paintings. Flower beds in Holland, so that's the one we looked at. Now here also it says number 1, and it gives you the page that the coloring page is on. So if you want to, maybe instead of looking and picking one from the coloring pages themselves, look back here and pick out a painting that you would like to try. You know which page the coloring page is on then. Ooh, look at all the colors in that one. Wow. A lot of reds. So pretty. Oh, look at that pretty scenic picture. Covered wagon with the horses here. You wonder, you know, with that super fine detail like that, how much shows up on the coloring pages. Because his paintings are so detailed. Look at that. Now, I'm sure not all of this is going to show up. Same like with the sun. But this original painting, isn't that gorgeous? This must be that one I seen that had so much green in it. Here's the covered wagons. Bar scene. Now, this looks, you know, you can really recognize his work in this picture. Well, you can on all of them, but look at all the people. Look at those blue eyes. Oh, that is pretty. Look at the irises. That might be the first one I would color. And again, the title of the painting is over here. This one's Van Gogh's Bedroom in Arles, A-R-L-E-S, and then the year 1889, so you know when the painting was done. Sleeping beneath the haystack. It's called the siesta. Church. And that is it. Here is a page with the photographic credits. So that is it. On the back page, it says, enjoy creating the hidden masterpieces that reveal themselves as you add color to these pages. Bring to life breathtaking scenery, expressive portraits, and blooming flowers while you discover the works of Van Gogh, one of the greatest artists of the 19th century. Using pencils, crayons, or felt tip pens. I cannot imagine using crayons. How would you use crayons in this book? Immerse yourself in a world of color and rediscover the joy of being creative as you follow in the footsteps of the artist who became known as the master of color. So I will leave a link down below to both of these books. I did buy them off of Amazon. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is Monet. And I am kind of close, ain't I? Okay, so exact same principle as the first one, except for, of course, these are by the artist Monet. Title page. Now this one, like the other one, this one is all about Claude Monet. Talks about getting started. Again, exactly like the prior book. And then here are your coloring pages. Ooh, wow. Look at all them dots. So again, I'll just do a flip through of the pages themselves, and then we will look at the paintings. And yes, Monet and Van Gogh definitely have their own styles of paintings, and so just like all the famous artists, they all have their own style. Definitely. Some of them, you know, some artists, I have a really hard time understanding what they meant through their paintings because, for instance, the abstract type of art, you know, to me and maybe many of you, it's like, I could have done that. It just looks like they splattered paint up on that canvas and or brushed it all over, you know. And I'm sure there is a method to the madness, but yeah, I have a hard time understanding some of those types of paintings. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I know that they are worth millions of dollars. If you are a lover of that type of abstract art, I apologize. But I think many of us have a hard time, you know, really interpreting some of those paintings and what the artist is trying to get across. A lot of dots on that one, huh? Wowie. Okay, so that's the end of the coloring pages. Here are the original paintings. Oh, isn't that pretty? I love all the pastel-y colors in this. So I'm not sure if the color palette in here is the same as that, because again, biggest drawback is they don't really show the color palettes that are needed. But oh, look at that. Oh, that is so pretty. Look at those dresses. Again, I don't know how much of the details actually going to show up in those coloring pages, like all these leaves. Just gorgeous. Oh, look at those flowers. To me, his paintings are a little bit more realistic than what Van Gogh's are. A little bit more, I shouldn't say detailed, because they're both very detailed, but these just seem to be, you know, like I said, a little bit more true. Down on the boardwalk. Look at the reflections in the water. Again, you know, how they can discern the reflections in the water. I know some colorists can do that too, and I am not good at that. Poppy field. Now again, you wonder how much of that shows up on the coloring page. Oh, that is pretty. I hope this is all showing up on camera okay. And again, over here, it gives you the title of the painting and the year that it was done. This, for instance, The Artist's Garden in, oh boy, there's a word I don't know, Argentile, 1873. I'm sure I butchered that name. And here's the bridge at Argentile, whatever. Somewhere over yonder. The coalmen. So these are guys that worked in the coal mines. The boats that carried all the coal down the river. Wow, another very detailed one. Oh, look at the turkeys. Wow. Huh, and I can't even pronounce that. The Rue Montague. Looks like all these flags hanging out of the buildings. All the people down here. Wow. Oh, another pretty floral. Red chrysanthemums. I can actually pronounce that one. Oh, that's pretty. Gorgeous. Haystacks, it says. Midday. Water lily pond. Symphony in Rose. 1900. So now we got into the 18th century. A more modern painting. 1903. The Houses of Parliament. Nice skyline. Water lilies. 1916. So it must go from the earliest to the more recent. They must go in chronological order, it seems. And that is it. And again, back page is photographic credits. And then the back cover, I'm not sure if, yeah, it is different. Water lilies floating in a pool, a river slowly winding through a valley, wave-battered cliffs, leaves blowing in the breeze, a field of poppies. These are just some of the famous examples where Monet captures the essence of a moment with each variation in color. Enjoy discovering the hidden masterpieces that reveal, oh my gosh, I can't read tonight, themselves as you add color to these pages. Okay, the rest of this is the same as the other one. Again, it says using pencils, crayons, or felt tip pens. That just kind of cracks me up. I've never seen a fine point crayon. At least one that would keep its point for any period of time. So that is a flip through both of these books. Again, very different from what I have seen in the past, but they looked kind of interesting. I really hope that they come out with some additional ones of these other than artists. If they would come out with just some floral books or, you know, something other than the artist, I think that would be really interesting too, especially for people that are not into artistry. It is not totally my thing, but I know these are, you know, a couple of the greats. So I just thought it would be fun. So I hope you liked seeing the flip throughs, and if you did, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new to my channel. I hope everybody's having a terrific weekend, and as always, happy coloring. Bye guys.